And here's these companies actually instructing these people in precarious employment that they're going to take 10% from their wages. I mean, what on earth? Where on earth are we in this country at this? How on earth? How on earth is Boris Johnson flying high in the polls? Ask yourself the question. Why on earth is Boris Johnson flying high in the polls in areas where people cannot put food on the table? And this very same people, by the way, are sick to death of politicians at the highest level, sneering at them, journalists sneering at them, telling them where they went wrong. Because, you know, there's a lot of supremely fantastic individuals out there who now believe that they are politically homeless. And, you know, we haven't got this divine right, you know. We haven't got this divine right as a party to exist. We've got to have a purpose. And we shouldn't forget it was 121 years ago on Saturday that the trade union movement formed the Labour Party. And it formed it for what reasons? They formed it for common decency, to give people who haven't got a voice in the Commons. They formed because they wanted a voice on education, a voice on health, a voice on workers' terms and conditions, on many, many other issues. And we're still fighting the same issues today. Because you look at the state of the country, you've got 4.7 million workers now on furlough. That was the figures from January. You know, and those between the age of 25 and 34 were hit most. There was over 1 million of them now on furlough. Women were more likely to be furloughed than men. Then more than 70, this is crazy. This is crazy. More than 70% of working mothers who asked to be furloughed for childcare reasons since the schools were closed have been refused by the employer. The benefit claimant count is now, when you look at the figures now compared to March 2020, it's increased by 213.2%. That's 2.6 million seeking either job seekers allowance or universal credit because they were searching for work. This compares with like around about 1.4 million in March 2020 before the pandemic. So they're not even going about universal credit. We've got a government in this day and age with record levels of people on universal credit, and they're looking to reduce the £20 uplift. I mean, listen, universal credit is a meagre allowance which has basically allowed people to put food on the table. But now the government are looking to take away that £20 uplift. They haven't given any guarantee that it will continue. You know, what sort of people are in the Commons? You know, we need to call them out, by the way. We really do need to call these people out. Because what people get away with, people think that it benefits teachers on universal. The most people on universal credit claiming benefits to exist to survive. These people, the majority are in work. Quite often two families with two adults in a family working and having to plead for, not only are they claiming universal credit, they're actually using the food bank. What's going wrong? I've got to ask. And what we need at this point in time, listen, colleagues, comrades, friends, brothers, sisters, whatever you want to be called, we've got to ensure that we have effective opposition. We really have. I think what we've seen in the past few months is a real decline in the polls The popularity of the leadership is rapidly declined. And I think people have got their own views, by the way, on why that is the case. And I'm of the view that we haven't been really effective in holding Johnson and his cronies' feet to the fire. We cannot have a shadow cabinet, I'm afraid we cannot, who start every sentence by saying we support the government, but we've got to have a shadow cabinet that gets out there and listens to the masses, listens to people in every community, listens to the people on calls like this. You want no holding back, Stone. Listen to people and listen to their experiences. Because I'm going to tell you what, I'm a Labour Party member, I'm a Labour Party MP. John and Laura, Labour Party representatives, MP, councillor and former MP, hopefully being an MP in the future. Now, that isn't anything more than we want is to have a Labour government. We're desperate for a Labour government so we can deliver the policies which we need to deliver. We need to make sure that people in the communities have got this hope, they've got this feeling that somebody listens to what they're saying. They need to be included, not as an exercise on tokenism. It's got to be a serious exercise of listening of what's went wrong, because we've been hemorrhaging members for quite some time. That hasn't just happened. We've been hemorrhaging members since, well, it's arguable, but we lost a lot of members since the 1990s, and it's continued. You know, I remember knocking on doors, and I have done all my life. And there wouldn't be anybody would say, get away from my doorstep. There wouldn't be anybody who would be rude or nasty. If they didn't support the Labour Party, and that was very few and far between in areas like mine, then they would have an excuse. Unfortunately, what we saw at the last election and what we see now is fantastic, loyal Labour constituency workers being shouted at, being threatened, being kicked off the land. Get off my land! It doesn't just happen in rural areas. It happens in council estates. You know, we've got, and I just say, and I'm going to conclude. I haven't even had a look at the script, by the way. I've just went on a rant. But I think what we've got to do is we've got to get back basics. We've got to get back to what the Labour Party stands for. We've got to ensure that people understand what the history of the Labour Party is, and that was a party developed by the fantastic trade union movement all those years ago. Socialism and the struggle didn't start in 2015. But anybody who's saying, well, I'm leaving the party because I'm not getting my own way, what were we doing if the likes of the Tall Puddle Martyrs had given in the 1800s, for heaven's sake? We stand on the shoulders of giants. We've got a responsibility, everyone, to fight tooth and nail to ensure that there's fairness in our communities. And what we've done at No Holding Back is begin a conversation. It's only the beginning, and we're listening, and we're reporting back to people, and we're reporting back to anybody who would care to listen, the real issues facing people in the community. Remember, the struggle didn't start in 2015, and by goodness, the struggle will continue well beyond the lifetime of anybody on this